Hey everybody, how's it going? It's a Daily Shooter, and today I actually want to talk about something positive when it comes to the Second Amendment here in the state of California. I mean, what a turn for my channel, right? Every time you hear about gun laws or gun news, the state of California here on my channel, it's usually something horrible that's happened to us, something that's been banned, something they're trying to ban. But today I want to talk about a completely different side, a positive note that could make some serious changes here in the state of California, as well as the rest of the country. Okay, but before I do that, I want to say a huge thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon. It's because of you that this channel is going to continue to run like normal without any changes or any hiccups whatsoever. Now, I also want to say a special shout out to some of my biggest Patreons. So we have Hugo Sturk. Thanks very much, buddy. I really appreciate that. We've been messaging. Great guy. Tactical Family. Thank you very much. Ryan Ramirez. We have Ed. Just Ed. Alejandro Naranjo, I'm really sorry if I mispronounced that. We have Charles Broadsdale, big supporter of the channel, thank you very much. Mike Powers, also known as Mike_Powers83 on Instagram. This guy's got a great Instagram page. Alex Powers, America Bearded Patriot on Instagram. I'm putting links to those guys in the description box. And Eminence Arms, all big supporters of the channel on Patreon, and I wanted to thank them very much for helping to keep this channel run the way that it is. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about that positive note for the Second Amendment. Okay, so now, like I said before, I'm going to talk about something positive for the Second Amendment here in the state of California, but I also said that this could have broad implications across the entire country. Now, what I'm talking about specifically is the confirmation of Neil Gorsuch as the next Supreme Court justice. Now, why is that a big deal for California? Well, California has actually been strategically waiting and holding for certain cases to go to the Supreme Court until we had the conservative majority back in power. Okay, so right now it's kind of a 5-4 court, or statistically it leans 5-4 when it comes to, conservative values or conservative views when it comes to the Constitution. So what we have are certain cases that have kind of been sitting. They've gone through the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. They went through a 3-judge panel, and then they were judged en banc. The en banc hearings didn't go our way, so we need to move that up, right, to the Supreme Court. Well, those have kind of been sitting in limbo, but now that we have a conservative Supreme Court justice, cases like Peruta V San Diego, and a lot of you know about Peruta V San Diego. I've talked about it a lot on this channel. That is the concealed carry case. That could have broad implications, but the most major implications here in the state of California, that basically talks about somebody's right to carry a concealed firearm in public. This could be as big as Heller, but for outside of the house. So, talking about the Heller decision, somebody has the right to keep and bear arms, and somebody has the right to defend themselves in their house. I don't know the exact, decision, but Heller was a big court case. To me, when I look at Peruta V San Diego, this has as broad implications, but outside of the house. So that has gone through the Ninth. The Ninth Circuit ruled against it. They are also the most overturned court in the entire country because they are so liberal that their decisions are politically based and not based in actual constitutional law. So that's why they get overturned so much. Well, that now is going to the Supreme Court. With Gorsuch on the seat, I have a very good feeling about this. Other things that are specific to California, and maybe some other states as well, New York and I guess any other state that would limit their magazines. We have magazine capacity limitations that could go up to the Supreme Court. One major one that was actually originally found to be unconstitutional by a 3-judge panel on the Ninth Circuit Court again, which after that was found to be unconstitutional, the Ninth Circuit Court held another en banc hearing with a larger panel of judges and then overturned the 3-judge panel saying, no, it's not unconstitutional, it's very constitutional. That has to do with the 10-day waiting period. Now, the 10-day waiting period, the court case that was going up on the 10-day waiting period, basically states that if somebody already owns a firearm and the state already knows that person to own a firearm, then there is no need to impose a 10-day waiting period restriction on every firearm following that one. What's the point? Because the whole thing that the state argues is that it's a cool-off period. If somebody wants to commit a crime, if somebody wants to commit suicide, this 10 days will give them a chance to kind of rethink things, right? Well, how does that necessarily work, or how does that argument hold up if the person is already known to own a firearm here in the state of California? Firearms have to be registered in this state, so the state knows that you already own a firearm. So if you walk in, and let's say I own 6 or 7 guns, I walk into the store, I still have to wait 10 days. Again, the argument is, if I wanted to commit a crime or commit suicide, I could already do so with the firearms that I currently own. So that is one case that's going to be going to the Supreme Court. We have 2 for sure. But now think about this. There are several court cases that are going to be brought up, and it's going to be a lengthy process where it's going to have to go through federal courts before it gets all the way up to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court. But when it comes to the new laws that were passed regarding the assault weapons ban, regarding basically all of the new crap that has fallen through the pipelines since January 1st, and coming down the pipeline later on this year and even next year regarding 80% lowers and things like that. All of those things are going to wind their way through courts now. We have the backing of the California Rifle and Pistol Association, which is basically like an arm of the NRA-ILA, the Institute for Legislative Action. We have Calguns Foundation, several, Firearms Policy Coalition. These are all places that are going to be filing lawsuits, and now those lawsuits actually have a place to go. They have a place to end up. So for everybody that asked me before, over the past several years, hey, do you think California is a lost cause? Even though I wanted to say yes, I always said no, because in the back of my mind, I knew that there was a chance for things to change. I think this is our chance. There's enough groups, there's enough money, there's enough that has already gone through a majority of the court processes through the Ninth Circuit that I think we're going to be seeing some major changes soon. I think that's what's going to happen. So if the Supreme Court actually decides to take up these cases, we might be seeing some decisions come down in our favor. Okay, in our favor. And again, this would affect the rest of the country as well, because it has to deal with concealed carry, waiting periods, magazine capacity, and other such things. So good news. There's a reason to be hopeful. And that's what this video is all about. Do not lose hope. Do not give up. Keep the fight going. Don't move out of the state of California just to find, greener pastures. If you're a gun-loving American, stay where you love to live. Stay where you want to live and fight for your rights there. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one over some of the other darker and bad news videos that have had to come out about California's Second Amendment. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.